And at that point, I was experiencing a severe amount of loneliness at that time. Like the severe amount of loneliness that I was experiencing at that time, I would not wish this on my worst enemy, because God was looking at me like, Mark, you're being disobedient. You know I isolate you for a reason, right? You know I had you, you know I removed these people out of your life for a reason, right? You know these people were not bringing nothing to your life. Why do you miss them so much? Why are you still attached to the world? The world ain't bringing you nothing. These people in your life are not adding nothing to your life. Why are you still attached to them? And I was. I can honestly say that I was attached. I was so attached to the world that I became lonely because of it. Like the loneliness that I was feeling was severe because I knew that I did not fit in. I knew that I did not blend in. That there was no place for me. No matter how hard I tried, and I tried hard. And I realized it wasn't getting me nowhere. I was only setting myself up to be rejected, to be, casted aside, to be labeled as a weirdo, no matter what. Just be labeled as uncool, boring, whatever. And like I said, I don't think anybody was experiencing the type of loneliness at that time than I was. And it really got to me. It really did. I went through a lot of depression, went through a lot of anxiety, went through a lot of mental illness problems, even wanted to kill myself at that point. I shouldn't say kill, I should say more self-deletion. That's more of a proper way of explaining that. Self-deletion. Um, that was on my mind at that time. And I didn't see a way out for me, you know? I didn't understand why God was isolating me, but I knew subconsciously I knew he wanted me to be alone for a reason. I just didn't understand what that reason was. What was going to come out of this. So it only became, isolation became more of a thing that I embraced when I had my spiritual awakening July 2019, a little over 2 years ago. That's when I started to embrace the isolation. That's when things start to make sense for me. That's when I start to understand why God was separating me from the world. So from that point on, it was always about growing. It was always about, you know, discovering self. It was always about leveling up. It was always about taking care of myself and getting embedded in the Word, seeking the Most High, building a connection with the Lord. And that's what it ultimately led me to. So God was going to carve out this awakening process for me in order to seek him out. And it took 4 or 5 years to come to that point. But you see, I was doing it to myself because of my disobedience, because of my ignorance, because of my refusal to see what God had planned out for me. Okay, there was a refusal. There was a rebellious nature in my character. There was a rebellious, I shouldn't say character, rebellious spirit, right? That I was channeling in towards the Most High. So the Most High, what he did was he was going to prolong my isolation process even further, right? In which he was going to delay certain blessings that was meant to come my way. See, God just ain't going to bless you because you're one of God's chosen people. God ain't finna just bless you because you prayed a couple times. He's not. God is going to bless you when you have proven yourself to be obedient to his word, to his law, statutes, and commandments, until you have gone through the test that God has put you through. The devil doesn't test you. The devil tempts you. God is the one that tests you. And God will allow certain things to happen to you in order for you to understand why it happened, for you to grow from it, for you to learn from it. So God was going to prolong my isolation experience much longer because I wasn't being obedient to it. I wasn't embracing it. I was trying to go against it. I looked at it as a punishment from God. Well, I'm just going to have you stay in this isolation period for a little bit longer until you finally wake up, until you finally, get it through your thick skull that I'm trying to build you up from this experience. I'm not trying to tear you down. And that's what he was doing. Like, all right, you want to be disobedient to me? You want to still be attached? Okay, well, guess what? I'm gonna make sure you don't get the world before you get me. That's what God was telling me. I'm gonna make sure you don't get the world. I'm gonna make sure you don't get the friends that you want. I'm gonna make sure you don't get no certain blessings. Because you need to seek me first. You need to seek me first before I can bless you. Before I can give you what you want. Right? So I had to really learn that isolation was not to punish me. It was supposed to build me up and keep me separated from the world so that I may seek the Lord, so that I can be a soldier for God, a true soldier for God. And I can honestly tell y'all right now that isolation was the best thing for me. Looking back on it and how it came and how it really shaped my life, it was supposed to happen the way it was supposed to. I'm a big believer that things happen for a reason and things will fall into place on how they're supposed to. Things don't happen by accident. Things happen by design. And how God isolated me, it happened by design. But you see, I took it the wrong way. All I did was I misjudged the isolation period. So I could have been isolated for a good year or 2 years had I been obedient, had I been reading my Bible, had I been detached from the world earlier on. Just think about where I'd be at now in my life. Just think about the position I would be in my life right now. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking like, yo, I can be in a better position right now. Had I been obedient earlier on, had I only embraced the isolation and let it build me up, instead let it elevate me to newer heights. And I didn't let it do it. I didn't let the isolation elevate me to newer heights. Instead, I deemed it as a punishment. I deemed it as, as a curse. And it was a complete opposite of that. So understand that God will isolate you when he sees that you're too attached. When he sees that you're too close to certain people that you're not really supposed to be close to anyway. If you really look at your circle, you look at your family, you take inventory of your social circle, are these people adding to your life or are they subtracting to your life? Is this situation adding to your life or is it subtracting to your life? And if you're not going to remove these situations from your life, if you're not going to remove these people from your life, guess what? God will. The Most High will remove these situations and these friends from your life that don't add nothing to your life. He will remove them. And then he will possibly begin to isolate you in order for you to elevate. See, now I'm at a point now. Isolation isolation will lead to elevation. It will lead to elevation. And once you give it time, once you just remain patient, and patience is a big thing. I wasn't patient. I wasn't, staying the course. It took me 4 or 5 years, y'all, to figure out why I was isolated. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in. If you're in a point in your life and you're in a period of your life where you're isolated, man, and you're like 18, 19 years old, listen, man, just be patient. Just be patient. Seek the Most High every single day and night. Do not be lukewarm like I was. Don't be lukewarm like I was. Don't think of it as a punishment like I did. Because that's only going to delay your blessings. That's only going to prolong the isolation period much longer. So just be patient with it. Embrace it. Let isolation build you up. Don't let it tear you down, make you seem like you're weird, make it seem like you're a loser, like you ain't nothing in this world. Don't let it tear you down, bro. Understand that. It's happening to elevate you to newer heights. So that being said, man, that's my whole breakdown of my isolation experience, my story on that. Thank y'all for watching this video. God bless y'all, and I'm out.